Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher to discuss Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Yep, disappointing night for the Villains. 2 points dropped against Sheffield United. We could have gone top, but unfortunately, didn't work out that way. Cameron Archer returns to haunt us, and we will be discussing that and much more after this. Okay, yes. So it was a Friday night highlight at Aston Villa at Villa Park. We had Sheffield United with the visitors, and first of all, Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you're having a great holidays, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all you villains. It's going to be a big year in 2024 for Aston Villa and for Coupe de Villa. So Noah, Merry Christmas, but it wasn't such a Merry Christmas for Unai Emery and the boys. We had the chance to go top against Sheffield United, and look, disappointing game, disappointing performance. Some VAR calls didn't go our way, and 2 points dropped, unfortunately.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Scott. Obviously, the
Cheers,
one
mate.
thing I wanted for Christmas was to be top at Christmas. Unfortunately, that didn't quite go away. I now lost a bet at work, so I owe a customer a free coffee.
Oh dear.
So I did think we'd be top at Christmas, seeming we'd play Sheffield United. But again, credit to them. They came out with a plan, and it was to annoy us and really park the bus. I'm not sure when the last time a team came to Villa Park with that sort of plan. Definitely not in the Premier League days, like our return to the Premier League. But
Mm,
I guess a lot of things we'll go into, but we just didn't quite have it there going in the attack. We were very slow. Like you can have 80% of the ball. I think just
mm.
before half time, they said we had 85% of the ball, but we had nothing to show for it. And Sheffield United, again, to their credit, just waited and waited for the game to open up. And when it did, one of our own, Cameron Archer, scores past us.
Yeah. Look, I saw a lot of people on social media sort of had a bad feeling about this game. It's typical Villa. Those sort of comments were going around. This could be a game where we drop points, and it did end up that way. But look, I think from the start we just didn't look quite at it. Matty Cash had a few bad touches, a few bad passes in the first couple of minutes, gave the ball away, and it sort of set the tone for a performance that we had a lot of the ball, as you said, but we weren't really creating a lot. And I think, all credit has to go to Sheffield United, really. I think they, like you said, they did come with a plan to frustrate and to, be solid and put men behind the ball and all that. But, that's what you're going to get when you're at the, top of the league and one of the teams in the relegation zone comes to visit you. And we should have been a bit more prepared for that. There was the four changes, of course, from Brentford. We had Clement Longley starting at the back. We had uh, who else was in there?
Digne came in,
Digne
Louise
came in.
came in,
Louise came back in after his suspension,
and
and
Bailey.
Bailey, yes, of course. And so yeah, I think personally, I mean, hindsight's a hell of a thing, but I did say this on the last pod. I thought this was a great game for Zaniolo. I thought he might get a chance. He obviously got his goal in the Conference League against Mostar, and I thought he gave us something a little bit different. Maybe having Diaby and Bailey in the same team was a little bit sort of same. And against a team that was going to sit back, we probably needed someone with a bit of flair and a bit of maybe technical ability to change the game there. But look, yeah, we still should have got the job done with the team we had, and yeah, we just didn't really create enough, especially in that first sort of hour.
Yeah, I think I said to you pre-pod that we definitely miss Kamara's calmness in midfield. Someone that
Yeah.
can just take a bit of pressure, dictate the ball.
Mm,
Look, you can point fingers at players, but I think overall everyone wasn't quite up to it, to be honest. I mean, we kept Sheffield United to not having a shot until the 75th minute. That's obviously defensively good. I thought Longley was pretty good when he came in. I know he's a bit rusty. He
mm.
hasn't started a Premier League game. Definitely, I
He
think we
he
needed
he
some
was
flair.
he was sleeping on the goal.
He
Long
was.
way.
Well, so was everyone though. I mean, how
Yeah.
can you can't just blame one person for that? Archer's standing in the middle of five blokes and
Mm,
he's open. So again, you can't really point fingers on that. But again, I don't know. We just against Brentford, we really moved the ball quickly when we needed to. Like when they got down to 10 men, like we should have been attacking this game. I know teams like Manchester City and Arsenal do drop points in these games as well, which is kind of like a thing. I guess we can say that teams want to come to Villa Park and points a minimum they want. They don't care. Like they want to they want to win. Of
Yeah.
course they do, but a minimum's a point. Um,
Well, look, they almost got three.
I know that's what I mean.
That's the thing, and it wasn't until the game got stretched later that, well, I think maybe Sheffield United had the better of it in that last 10 minutes. They had a few
Definitely.
shots. Norwood had a good effort, before the goal came, and then, look, uh, yeah, it is a bit concerning, but. These games do happen from time to time. And I guess the big talking points are the VAR calls, and Villa fans will be sort of raging into their keyboards tonight, all over the world. Again, there was, three or four big incidents, but I think the two that are really going to be spoke about in the next few days are the push on Ollie Watkins. How that wasn't given, I have no idea. And of course, the potential handball from I think it was Baldock from Sheffield United, where he completely cups the ball. He changes the direction of the ball. It's a deliberate, arm to hand. And yes, I know that we've got this new sort of ruling where it's the sleeve is okay, but it was sort of half sleeve, half arm. It certainly was handball in every sort of game that I've ever played or seen. Growing up, that's just handball. You've deliberately played the ball and you've changed the direction of the ball with your arm. Yeah, so I think we can definitely, we have a few complaints there and that are justified.
Definitely. The push in the back one is just a stonewall penalty. That's been all over social media, over
Yeah.
Twitter. I've been checking everyone, not even just Villa fans, saying how the hell was I not given a pen?
Mm.
The fact that it wasn't given on field, I guess, kind of goes through like if it was given on field, probably stays a pen, sort of thing like that. And I think same with the handball one, but I think they both should
Mm.
be overturned. I don't quite understand what's going on. The handball
Yeah,
one,
at
he
least at
actually,
least give him a look. Send him
yeah,
over.
like he actually like the handball, he swung his arm at it. Like
Yeah,
actually, like moved his arm at the ball. Like, come on.
I
I
know.
know it's a grey area, and I guess
Well,
they
I
don't.
don't think it is a
Oh,
grey area. I just think if that is the rule, then the rule is wrong. You know,
yeah,
because you know, teams are just going to make longer sleeves, or they're going to, you know, it's. I mean, there's a fair bit of your arm that is covered up by the sleeve,
I
and you
know.
can you can almost like set the ball like a volleyball if you want.
Yeah,
Like,
but
and I mean,
how long till clubs increase the length of their sleeves?
well,
Just a
yeah, and
week,
I
just a
mean,
little bit, just a
it
little
just
bit.
yeah, just to sort of yeah, fool the VAR. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, like I know that just doesn't make sense to me in football that is not given. The VAR one with Ollie Watkins to pushing the back, like I said, send him over to the monitor, make the referee make the decision. And then of course there was the other two major VAR incidents that I think they got right, which was there was another handball shout where the ball sort of bounced around and may have hit an arm, but I don't think it was enough to give a penalty. I think that was Jacob Ramsey that was in there on that one. And then there was the goal that Leon Bailey did score and was ruled back because Jacob Ramsey was holding the goalkeeper's arm. I think, that's fair enough. I think that is a
Definitely.
foul. I mean, obviously, you see a lot of holding going on, and people were saying that Ramsey was being held at the same time by the defender, but we all know that goalkeepers are protected, and if you grab a goalkeeper's arm when the cross is coming in, he's trying to punch the ball, that's going to be given 100 times out of 100.
I mean, the commentator said it as well. Like, if it's an outfield player, it's probably a different result.
Yeah.
I guess the one VAR thing we didn't talk about was the John Duran one. And I think he's a very lucky
Yes.
man. I really do.
I thought he
Like,
was gonna. I thought he was gonna go. I thought it was a red card.
I
Yeah.
thought it was deservedly so, to be honest. You can't be swinging out, and especially when you make contact,
No.
you're always looking for damage. Like, look at Kamara.
Mm.
Push someone in the throat.
Exactly. What Duran did was far more dangerous and violent than what Kamara did last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised as soon as I saw the replay and he makes contact with his head, even if it is a sort of glancing blow with the elbow. Yeah, I thought he's a very, very lucky boy. And, if that happens, maybe, I think that also contributed to the goal
Yeah, I think
because
it
the
did
goal
too.
comes straight after that.
Yeah.
And we're sort of, complaining about this and that and VAR and whatever, and we sort of switch off. Um, and McGinn dives in when he doesn't have to on the touchline. The ball gets cut back, and like I said earlier, Longley, I think, and a few others in there are sort of daydreaming. There's one Sheffield United player in the box. I think it's only
It's literally
Archer.
Archer. Yeah.
Yeah, and no one's picking him up.
Simple sport, isn't it? Why could we
Mm,
not do that, If they've got many people in the box, just find the open player. But look, we ended up working hard and grafting to get a goal, and I'm very happy for the goal scorer in Zaniolo. I think we've been saying for so long how goals come, and he's got 2 and 3 now, 2 goals in
mm,
3 games. So, I mean, look at positive, Scott. We're still undefeated at home since February last year, this year, not last year,
yeah,
this year. You look at like positives, it's just still unbelievable. We're going to be top 4 this week. Just
yeah.
keep taking positive. We're second at
Look,
the moment. We're still second technically. So
yeah, we look. There are positives. I mean, the fact that we could come back and get a point is big because a defeat to Sheffield United at home would have been, quite frankly, embarrassing. The draw isn't much better, but look, it is a point, and it could be a crucial point come the end of the season. It could give Zaniolo a bit of a push. Maybe he'll start, scoring some more goals. And look, you're going to have bad days and you just want to kind of minimize the damage. And we did that to some degree. So,
I,
from that point of view, you got to be like reasonably happy that we could find some sort of response.
I definitely. There's one player that's actually quite disappointed me over recent weeks. He started like a house on fire in a Villa shirt, and it's Moussa Diaby. I just think he's lost that instinct, that killer blow that he used to have for us. Like he was so switched on for the first couple of months, getting
Mm,
3 goals, 5 assists, whatever it was to start the season. He's really dropped off, and I think someone that could come in for him is I'd put Zaniolo in for Diaby against United. I just think, and then put Bailey further up because Bailey's goal and assist per minute is through the roof, and I think he deserves to be starting most games.
yeah.
Um, I know things to work on. Maybe players' spot isn't as safe as I think. And I think that's a good thing for Emery because he'll be fuming at this result. Let's be honest. They're probably still in a team meeting now. We've just started recording this after the game. They're
Yeah.
probably still getting abused for their attack and everything like that. But look, dust ourselves off. Manchester United away doesn't get much harder as an away venue in the Premier League. I know teams are going there
Mm.
at the moment and getting some results, but we haven't had such a good record there, and it's going to be an interesting battle.
No, it will be. It'll be a big test. They're not traveling the best right now, but when you go to Old Trafford, like you said, it's always going to be a big game, big test. And look, I think Emery's going to want a response after this performance. And look, yeah, like John McGinn, battled hard, sort of huffed and puffed. Douglas Luiz, I think, had a few good moments, but we seem to be very, we have this patient build up style, which, is fair enough. But against a team like Sheffield United in this low block with the men behind the ball, you really have to be quicker in terms of, how we're playing the ball, when we're getting the ball in the box, because very often we'll pass it, come back, recycle it to the other side, come back, and then we'll play a ball into the box, and they're all set up at that point, right? So it's that's a good idea to do sometimes, but you've got to mix it up with a few quicker balls into the box. And the likes of Matty Cash and Digne didn't really have their crossing boots on today. And we seem to be turning back into trouble a lot. We sort of go out wide where the spaces are, and instead of trying to go around the outside and get the ball into the box, we're coming back inside into the traffic. And yeah, it just didn't happen for us today.
And I think that I would have started Moreno, someone that has the pace to get to the baseline and put in a decent ball, someone that's just a bit
Mm,
quicker and can take on players. Like I love Digne, and I think he's been unbelievable for us this season. But in a game that how they're going to set up and how defensively they're going to be, I think
yeah.
someone with a bit of extra pace just to take him on, put him under the pump, get him on the back foot, and then whip the ball in because I mean, Moreno was great when he came on. Almost scored,
He
was
did.
very
It was
impactful.
very similar to his goal against
Exactly the
Bournemouth,
same.
but
I guess it was identical. But I'm not too disheartened because I think I said to you pre-podcast, Scott, if I'd offered you 4 points from the last two games, Brentford away, Sheffield United at home, I think 90% of people would have taken it because we didn't have a good record at Brentford.
mm.
And yeah, I just think that you take 4 points from two games and you move on.
Yep. I mean, it is disappointing considering the VAR calls. I mean, if that early push on Ollie Watkins is given a penalty, we go 1-0 up. I think we win the game, 99 times out of
No, I
100 from
I
there.
agree.
And then we are top of the league. So yeah, it's a gut punch, and it's one we're gonna have to take. And a lot of people are on social media, slagging off the team, and I understand that from a certain point of view, and everyone's got the right to say what they want. But what I would say is, that's sort of get our expectations under control a bit and sort of realize where we are, where we've come from, and that we're not a perfect team yet. This is still a work in progress. Talks of winning the title and all this sort of stuff, I think, are a little bit too premature. And we need to sort of just look at those teams in fifth, sixth, seventh, and we've got to kind of keep that gap. And this point could be a huge point in sort of keeping that gap and keeping ourselves in the top four, because Champions League football and a trophy maybe in the Conference League at the end of the season would be exceptional. I just wanted to talk about the Conference League a bit, because there was the draw in between this podcast and the last one for the playoffs, and there's some interesting teams in that draw. I was looking through to see who's left in the competition that could worry us, and I think my biggest worries are um, Real Betis. I think they are a good team, and they've just had draws against Real Madrid and Girona, who are high flying in the La Liga. Eintracht Frankfurt, I think, could be a team that gives us a few issues, and Lille from France are probably the three teams that I think might be our biggest competitors in that tournament. So, look, Real Betis have a draw against Dynamo Zagreb. So hopefully Zagreb can do us a favor and knock them out. That'd be great. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see, who we do finally get in that draw. But it won't be till March, I think, that we
Yeah, March, I think it is. Yeah, so it's still got a
yeah,
while, which is actually pretty good. You can focus on the Premier League for a little bit because everyone was saying, "Oh, how are we going to manage with, Saturday, Thursday football?"
yeah.
Give us a couple of months off, focus on the Premier League, hopefully cement like a top five, result because that's kind of what we need. And I was listening to Jamie Carragher a little bit on Twitter. I put in clips, and he still thinks that fifth will be a Champions League spot
Okay.
coming into
Yep.
it because obviously you've still got teams doing well. Like if
Yep.
Villa do well, West Ham do well, and City and Arsenal both do well, that's four teams in different European competitions, showing how
Mm.
strong it is in England. I think fifth is a still a red hot chance to be a Champions League spot.
Yes, and I've also seen, like, in the Champions League, a lot of the teams in La Liga and the Bundesliga, maybe the two leagues that we're going to be going up against, um, have drawn teams that they could be knocked out to potentially. So that's an interesting one to keep a note on. So we want the La Liga teams, the Bundesliga teams to get knocked out, and hopefully the English teams to do well. And if that fifth place is a Champions League spot and we finish fifth, I'll take it.
I'll take it as well. Oh,
Excuse me.
bless you, Scott.
Excuse me. Yeah. I was just it must be the result. It's getting to me. But yeah, so let's look forward to Man United. We've got Cash is out now, suspended, and I think he might not have played anyway because he's been struggling a bit, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was
it's
I was a little bit surprised that he started this game, and no Diego Carlos. So he went with Konza back in the middle, which I like, but he went with Longley instead of Carlos. Yeah, I could see that being switched up a bit, maybe against Man United. And look, yeah, Zaniolo is the other one that I think could potentially come in, maybe for a Diaby, maybe for a Jacob Ramsey, who again, since he's come back from injury, has struggled a bit,
He's
I
still
think.
finding his feet, isn't he? Like he
Mm,
hasn't quite had like when he came on as a sub against Brighton, we were on up 5-1 at the time. I think it was. He was unbelievable running at
yeah,
players. He didn't get that confidence back because he is an unbelievable player for us and
that's right. I think
something
he
that
was
we
our
need.
best player towards the end of last season in that run in. I thought he was our best player, and he was really sort of the heart and soul of the team at times going into those last few months of the season when we climbed into that Europa Conference League
Big
spot.
time, big time.
Yeah, so we could do with a bit of that back because that's one thing, we do miss when he's not up and running is someone that can run past people, someone that carries the ball long periods and can sort of take us up the field. And I'd like to see him do that a bit more, or maybe against Man United we'll get a bit more space on the counter attack, and it'll be a bit more of a game where we go toe to toe. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. Still,
So am
I,
I.
I think it's going to be a cracker, and if we win that, we're back on track. So
Ah,
this
big time, big time.
this that's what we've got to hope for. So do you want to do the predictions for United?
Yeah, I'll jump in first. I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa. I just think that we'll bounce back. Emery won't be having that result against Sheffield United. We'll come out firing. I think we'll have a 2-0 lead. And they'll peg one back late. And I think we'll hold on because we're Villa. I think, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go for a. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Villa as well.
The last 2 weeks we've copied ourselves, eh?
Yeah,
We're cancelling ourselves out, eh?
I know. Yeah, I think a 2-1 Villa. I think it'll be 1-1 maybe, and we'll nick it maybe like a Courtney Hawes from the corner style. Maybe
Bring him
this
in.
time,
Bring him in.
yeah, maybe this time Conser. He hasn't scored for a while. He's certainly due. I thought he could have scored today. He had a great chance from a corner from John McGinn where he sort of overran it a little bit. It was a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, probably should have scored that one. Same with Diaby had a pretty good chance as well where he
Early
was
on,
slipped through.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good save from the keeper that one.
It didn't really test him too much, like, did it? He didn't really have to dive. It
Mm.
was kind of straight at him. But
And the other one we haven't touched on is maybe Ollie Watkins had that one where Longley did the nice little header back and he just couldn't get on top of it.
big
But
chance.
yeah,
Big
we didn't
chance.
create a lot really. And it's certainly got to be better in the coming weeks. I mean, we got Burnley at home after the United game, and that's going to be a similar sort of.
Exactly the same. And Burnley will be watching that game
Mm.
about how Sheffield United played. And look, I know Vincent Company is playing a little bit different football to Chris Wilder,
Yeah, he
but
plays a bit more open, a bit more sort of
yeah,
attacking.
but I still think they're going to try come get a point minimum.
Yeah, it'll still be, difficult and we'll have all the expectation on our shoulders. So, that's the thing with expectation, you've got to learn to play with it. And I think in those first 15 minutes of this game, we should have been just like throwing the kitchen sink at them, playing a lot more balls into the box quicker. Um, and you just go for it in that first 15 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, and then we can go back to a more patient style. I think it just took us a bit of time to get going, and
It was
unfortunately,
the goal. The goal kicked us into gear, and
exactly,
it shouldn't take the goal to do so. And I
no,
actually don't think we're giving Zaniolo a lot of much credit for that goal because that was a sensational header, by the way.
it
And a great
was,
ball in from Dougie Luiz.
it was, and he sort of took a bit off it as well because if he had powered it, it probably would have gone over, but
Yeah,
he just cushioned it nicely, so it just dipped under the bar. And look, he's a threat. I think I'm not giving up on Zaniolo. Um, I think he's a good player. He showed it at Roma. He showed it at Galatasaray. He starts for Italy, so I think he had a difficult start where I think a lot of the games he tried to do too much. He tried to impress every time he had the ball, tried to nutmeg someone or have a shot from maybe angles and distances where it was unlikely to go in. But like if he can get confidence going because he's definitely a confident sort of player. He's very emotional on the field. He's that kind of player. But if his emotions and his confidence are going well, I think he can be a real asset. And
Big time.
I'm
Big
looking
time.
forward to him scoring some crucial goals in this run in.
Same here.
I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up. Disappointment, guys, but I hope you guys all enjoy your Christmases and your holidays with your loved ones. If you do, um, yeah, if you do Christmas. If not, have a great week. We'll be back after Boxing Day for the Man United game up to Villa. Have a great Christmas,
Up
Noah,
the
and
Villa. Merry
we will
Christmas.
see you. Yeah, after Christmas. Up the Villa.
Up
See
the
ya.
Villa. Woo.